It's time for the moment you've been waiting for. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
Anti-SJW Ultradegeneracy.
Hello and welcome to our weekly Anti-SJW Ultradegeneracy. This is our official national anthem from now on.
Yeah, and like I said before, Sheev Lord, you got to replace the batteries in your wheelchair. That was way too slow. Lithium doesn't last forever, you know.
Oh, speaking of batteries, by the way, you know what's the easiest way to get a lot of like lithium rechargeable 18650s, like really a lot of them? Well, if you befriend someone who repairs laptops and buy or even get for free old laptop batteries, each one of them has like 6 18650 elements, and a lot of times, even if the battery is dead, sometimes it's just like 1 or 2 elements out there. Then the rest are fine. I have so many of them, and I don't know what to do with them. So yeah, just convert everything that uses batteries to lithium, even if it doesn't make much sense. Well, why not?
Yeah, I actually find it easier just to find the pretentious douchebag who has the electric car and just bash him over the head when he's not looking and steal the batteries out of the car.
I guess that's one way to do it.
Hundreds of pounds of them. Anyway, introductions maybe.
That's why you knock him out effectively. Give you time to do it.
I guess I shouldn't ask you what would you do if you needed organs for transplanting.
Lithium organs.
Yeah,
hey, that's why you invest in an ice maker.
Also, by the way, another fun fact: like in the Victorian times, before, like nowadays, if you have you need artificial teeth, it's no problem, like acrylic or other synthetic materials. But back in the day, well, you'd have to do with what you can. There were really cheap and not very good dentures made from wood, and wooden teeth are not exactly great. Well, more expensive ones were like filed down horse teeth, but the best way to replace teeth is by replacing them with human teeth. And where would you get human teeth? Well, battlefields. So there would people would go there and literally just loot corpses, loot teeth from corpses. And it was good business. And it's not even the most macabre dark thing about
macabre.
What's kind of pronounced macabre?
Macabre. Yeah, sure.
Macabre. Anyway, so what's even worse is that when the battlefield wasn't fresh anymore, all the flesh has rotten, but bones were remaining. Those bones were collected, ground down into powder, and sold as fertilizer. And imagine fertilizing your fields with human remains, literally.
Well,
it wasn't even like a secret. Everyone knew what it was made of.
Well, at least it sounds better than fertilizing your land with shit. So,
I mean, you shouldn't fertilize land with human shit because you might reintroduce parasites. If you're using shit from other animals, the chances of the parasites being able to cross species is lower. But anyways, introductions. But by the way, notice how quickly it deteriorated into really, we went into dark territory really fast.
Very.
Shitty dead stuff.
It's a good sign. Well, again, anyways, today we're joined by Chairman Macho.
Hey there.
By the way, he is responsible for the introduction for the day. So,
Most of them are his.
I did it in like an hour and a half max.
By the way, usually if we have a custom made introduction, it's usually him who makes them. So yeah. we need people need to know their heroes. Yes. Dracopol,
It's a privilege to be anywhere.
don't forget, only $15.99.
Yeah, $15.99, and I'm not responsible for anything. They won't put me in charge of a single thing.
Hey, James.
Yeah, I found a vintage 2009 virtual pet that has not ever, like, the battery tab is still in this thing.
So it's like a virgin.
Yeah.
Like
I probably have the only virtual pet that has never died.
So it's like
Tamagotchi.
a Tamagotchi or a knockoff of Tamagotchi?
It's pretty much the same thing as
Where'd you find it?
Tamagotchis.
A time capsule?
No, actually, it was I'm not even sure where I got it, but it was like in a box of stuff that I've had around for a while.
Well, given what you said before, you probably clobbered someone in the head and took it from them.
Yeah, it was. I was kind of drinking heavy at that party.
Yeah. Blacklord.
Good evening, everyone.
And I'm your host, Sheevlord. And by the way, let's actually a moment. Let me see. Because Google, in their infinite wisdom, decided that the feature that showed how many people are watching your live stream in the window that broadcasts was really nobody wanted that, so they removed it because, well, it's like, are they getting ideas from Apple or something? Because of all
Probably.
Well, yeah, I mean, all these fucking Silicon Valley companies are usually in cahoots with each other one way or the other, so...
There's one watching.
When it comes to Apple, they are not so much in cahoots as in they shamelessly borrow ideas from others, and then idiots, praise them for their innovation.
Original. Like that one meme I saw like many years ago. I'm thinking probably back in 2011 of how when Bill Gates came out with the tablet PC, in 2002, the whole world was asleep, and then Bill Gates comes out with the iPad in 2010, and everyone's like, holy shit, this is so revolutionary.
Yeah. But then again, also Windows, from what I understand, was actually stolen off of early Apple code.
No. It wasn't stolen from Apple code. And first of all, if they actually stole code, they would get lawyers up their ass really quickly. Also, let's not forget that there was no they weren't like mortal enemies. They collaborated and licensed software to each other. Microsoft licensed their Microsoft Basic to pretty much anyone who wanted it. All the computers of the 80s, pretty much all of them had Basic. And
Apple, they sort of worked on the Unix project, well, Linux, and they just they didn't steal it since it was a community project, but they just took the code and they just ran with it without giving any royalties. So
I mean, that's the point of open source. You don't need any royalties, and also, when a huge company uses this code, they don't just use it; they contribute to it too. And because the licenses are made, so if you modify,
yeah, I mean, they started from it, and then they used the connectivity that was already in place, and then they just built onto that without giving to the project. They just went on their way with a big part of the code already done.
Well, it's kind of the idea of open source, especially depending on the license. If it's like a GPL, well, it's like 3 a.m.
Yeah, I mean, I know that in the previous Linux license, if you contributed code to like whatever thing, you had a lifetime right to revoke your code, which means that any programs, like everybody worldwide that was using programs that had your code, would have to stop. And then they went and changed the license where, it's out there forever now. But it was during that major flap, I can't remember how long ago, come to find out that pretty much everybody that, the the various SJWs were trying to get like banned from the community, could have pulled every bit of their code if they wanted.
Anyways, let's get.
Well, they did threaten that.
Oh, I found the memes and posted them below on Discord.
Oh, Discord. Let's take a look.
The first one's from 2011, so that's why it doesn't have.
Oh, one moment. I'll need to keep my voice down. So, yes, it's a great thing about
Apple hasn't made anything first.
Well, they made some things first. Like for example, they made phones that were they didn't have simple functions. Like you couldn't use an MP3 as a ringtone for the first iPhone, which is an innovation because even the cheapest phones you could set your own like melodies, but on this supposedly high-end phone you couldn't. Also, it had Bluetooth, but didn't have Bluetooth file transfer. That's also a very innovative way. Like how.
Yeah. I remember when you actually could literally program your own ringtones by hitting the numbers on the keypad and the pound and star to actually like you would actually have to program in note by note, but you could actually build your own ringtone.
Good. Keypad. iPhone didn't have a keypad. It had a touch screen. Anyways,
No, I think it was first a cell phone in general.
Yeah, let's let me show so that's people are fucking idiots. Well, no shit. Also, actually, no. This beam is actually incorrect because Apple had their own, the first tablet they used. Well, could it be called a tablet? It was kind of tablet. It was black and white, and I think it was called Apple Newton, and it wasn't successful. Let me show it's much less glamorous because it's
Okay, it's a electronic assistant.
So yeah, it was actually long before this one.
Pocket secretary, finally got it.
And
what was this? The 80s, the 90s? What was this?
It's 90s, but actually it's more like PDA. But PDA and tablet are not that different.
It's not the same. Well,
PDA is kind of like a prototype tablet.
It's just a smaller variant of tablets. Oh, what the hell is this?
Well,
this was a good design. Like why?
EMA 300. And it's like, Apple Newton. Well, guess what? Fig Newtons will always win.
It's shaped like an ass.
Yeah. Well, look
and it's still, and it's maybe there wasn't enough degeneracy to go around. Maybe that's why.
Look at this. The such a big frame and such a tiny screen, and they couldn't even put like speakers to the sides of the screen. So this space is completely wasted.
No, I think it's probably more. Well, I don't know how transparent it was, so there probably was things in it. Remember, those screens weren't the most compact, so maybe they just spilled on the side to save space, to save thickness.
No, you can actually see there's literally nothing there on the side. I think they did it because smaller screens are cheaper, and especially back then because screens, they used to be really expensive.
Yeah.
By the way,
that's part of the reason why they used the term real estate, came in, like really caught on with it, is because screen technology was expensive.
No. This has nothing to do with the price. It's just because when real estate in reality is like a piece of land, pretty much. But on the screen, well, it's just still space where you can put something useful there, like open an application or something. So, obviously you want to use it to the maximum. So that's why it has nothing to do with the price or anything. And anyways, notice how we managed to go off topic even before we mentioned any topics.
Yeah.
Well, it's our show. What did you expect? Well, let's actually. By the way, before I forget, a question for our viewers: Did you get why we named the stream as the way we did? What it's a reference to? If you know, well, the thumbnail is kind of dead giveaway. But if you know, Let's okay, a small hint. Yesterday, leftists, well, not all leftists.
Oh God, yes.
Some left-wing retards on Twitter, we'll just say.
Yeah, well, including Elon Omar, Alexander Ocasio-Cortez, Colonel Sanders, you know, the one who doesn't know how to cook, and well, a bunch of others. They were screaming bloody murder and saying that Trump has marked Elon Omar for death and put her life in danger. How did he do it? By tweeting. So, you know, can you remember any like fictional story where someone had the power to kill people by just writing?
Other than Hillary?
Well,
Yeah, well, he's a president, so he kind of just needs to say the word, and people are gonna die.
We already figured it out. The only way you could mark someone for death is by putting a sign on someone's back that says, "I have dirt on Hillary Clinton."
Yeah, that's a good way to die.
Trump wouldn't do that.
That's not that would be if you do that to yourself, that would be classed as suicide by CIA.
But by the way, do you know how exactly did he mark her for death? Well, by posting this. Let's watch this horrific display.
CARE was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something.
You have no idea right
oh,
now.
there's another one. Another plane just hit.
Some people did something.
Oh my goodness, there is smoke pouring out the Pentagon.
Some people did something.
It just flew straight into it.
So basically, she managed to. Well, she wasn't technically wrong. I mean, yeah, some people did something, which is like the dumbest way to put it.
Somebody did something.
Was it Lethal Weapon 2? I think where there was this quote: "Somebody do something." But you know, it was said like in the heat of the moment. So it's apparently. Usually, politicians, when they speak, they prepare their speeches in advance, so there's no excuse. I mean, come on. Well, even if she was speaking unrehearsed, it's still a very, very stupid way to put it. And
some Holocausts are remembered for like 70 years, but the rich financier Holocaust is forgotten after like 15 or so, whatever it is, 18.
That Holocaust. There are also the parentheses, rich financiers also.
Yeah. I just realized why that chick annoys me so fucking much. Besides the fact that she's stupid, she sounds like that German chick that thinks that her kids are going to be born black because her and her husband got tanning injections. She sounds like her.
Who? Do I even want to know?
No, like if you sit there and you listen to how that chick was talking in the videos, they recognize some people did something. She sound just like if you ever find this German chick that she's obsessed with and trying to become African by getting tanning injections and actually swears her kids are going to be born black because she's now black. And listen to her voice; she sounds exactly like her.
Actually, I think her kids will be born black, but not because of a sort of quote unquote injection, from a BBC. Well, people isn't watching, but that's there. And by the way, I'm not even exaggerating. Look at the reactions. It is, by the way, the screenshot is from. I accidentally stumbled upon a subreddit called Chapo Trap House. I don't know what it is, but apparently it's not Mexican club for trannies. I thought it was by the
too bad,
but apparently not. So yeah, this is the post there. So Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, in her infinite wisdom again, says members of Congress have a duty to respond to the president's explicit attack. Well, explicit attack. It depends how you define attack, but yeah, it's well, it's more like explicit criticism because I mean, some people did something. It's
It's an understatement, let's say.
Yeah. Elon's life is in danger. Fucking really. And who is endangering her life? Maybe. Oh, I know who. I think that her terrorist buddies don't like it when they are called some people and their achievements are diminished by saying, "Oh, they did something." It's not something; it's their greatest achievement in their lives. So they don't like it when people are minimalizing their glorious contribution to
their exploits.
Yeah,
between 1939 and 1945, Hitler just did some things.
Yeah. Well, he did one thing in 45. he became an hero, not an hero we need, but an hero we deserve.
In Vietnam, we just did some things.
Well, if some boomer by any chance finds it and think it will say, "Oh, this guy said that Hitler is a hero," not a hero, an hero. An hero is an internet slang for someone who commits suicide. Oh, let's see. For our colleagues to be silent is to be complicit in the outright dangerous targeting of a member of Congress. Yeah, totally not exaggerating the danger. Not a drama queen at all. We must speak out. First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Well, it's not like Ilhan Omar cares about the Jews. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, and if you didn't speak up because you're not a socialist, then why the fuck is she running her mouth? Damn it.
Indeed.
Also, what does this poem have to do with anything in regards to that video?
Well, apparently she says that people who don't defend Ilhan Omar, they will be next on the chopping block because after her name is in the Trump's desunoto. If Trump had Death Note, he wouldn't just write one by one. He would. Oh, actually, maybe he would. Just to see the.
The Death Note works like that. You have to write them one by one.
No, but I mean, you could write them in one back and see them die.
Oh, okay, you mean that way, yeah.
But actually, it makes sense to prolong it. So, for the rest of them to be nervous and think, are they on the list or not? And the more it goes, the worse it gets, and they'll start losing their shit and trying to rat each other out, or even when people are desperate, they start doing. It's entertaining to watch. I'm totally not a sociopath or anything.
Yeah, not at all.
Not at all. Also, I need to point out that despite that the title of the stream, I'm totally not a weeaboo and pay no attention to the portrait of Lucy on the wall.
You can't even really tell that it's her. I'm like, what the hell is that?
On the wall, it's Lucy from.
Because when you mentioned it in the chat, yes, I'm like, are we talking Lucy from Elfen Lied or Lucy from Fairy Tale?
The one that went all John Wick. Don't kill people. Someone's. By the way, have you noticed that if you kill someone's dog, well, they don't take it lightly. So you killed my dog. I'll just mass murder all of you. In a horrific way.
Well, dogs die in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to get too far off topic, but that dog was the last was given to him. Like his wife arranged to have it given to him after she died to give him something to live for.
Yeah, that's
so that's why it was that's why he John Wicked everybody's ass over a dog.
Well, in Elfen Lied, the dog was pretty much like her only friend because she was kind of ostracized because of her
horns that totally look like cat ears.
Yeah, I mean, Japan.
Yeah, the invisible tentacles with tearing strength might have had something to do with it.
Doesn't manifest until after she went ape shit after they killed the dog.
Yeah, well, it's because actually her powers manifested the first time, like, a day before that, during her sleep. Because when she woke up, the whole floor, ceiling, and the walls were like in print marks of the phantom. I'm totally not a weeb, and
vectors.
I've proven it is right. Let's get
totally not.
Let's get back to the topic. There was, let me find a quote, because AOC wasn't the only one who complained that Trump is literally killing Ilhan Omar. Bernie Sanders, Ilhan Omar. Tweet.
Yeah, who else got their dog killed?
Sending people out to kill people when it was his supporter who nearly killed Steve Scalise. I mean, everyone likes to forget that, but we don't. The North remembers.
Yeah, never forgive, never forget. By the way, remember
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Yeah, remember one time when Oprah got trolled by some,
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, they never forgive and never forget. They have over 9,000 penises, all are raping children.
Yeah, we opened with that around the time our streams coincided with the 10th anniversary of that back in September of last year.
Oh my god.
Well,
that was epic.
Boomers are as boomers do.
Which reminds me, like, I mean, that was probably like one of the best trolling examples. The one I'll never stop losing my shit over was the friggin' Asiana Airlines flight that crashed with the fake Asian names.
Oh, yeah. Oof.
That one was beautiful.
Yeah.
How to want to die. Oh, poor girl, poor woman. She must have been so embarrassed.
Something wrong, we too low.
Holy fuck. And bang ding ow.
Check this out.
The number of
check this. Ilhan Omar is a leader with strength and courage. Yeah, stunning and brave. She won't back down to Trump's racism. Racism? Race? Where?
Sorry, is suicide bomber a race?
Apparently. Maybe
he's just talking shit. That's what they all do.
Maybe he's mixing himself with D&D. Maybe his homebrew game has some suicide bomber race.
Okay. Let's
it wasn't linking Ian Omar to 9/11. It was just highlighting how it was a bit insensitive of her just to say some people did some things on 9/11.
The occupant of the White House. Oh, yeah, like sounds like
she just don't want to say the president, which is really, really fucking petty.
Yeah, that's Trump derangement syndrome there.
He didn't just find a vacant White House and decided
they're still trying to deny his legitimacy even after the whole Mueller thing turned out to be a crock of shit, and he legally is the president in regards to how America conducts its elections, and there was no Russian interference.
Actually, taking out the conservatively estimated illegal vote, he won popular too.
That's right. If you count only citizen non-dead voters, Trump did get the majority. But that doesn't matter because it's the Electoral College that counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I actually even have I think I have a meme for that. Yeah.
In fact, there's evidence of collusion where 63 million Americans put Trump in power. Some kind of collusion going on there.
Anyways, put her family, her team, and Muslim Americans across the country in jeopardy. Well, why not across the globe while we're at it? Just go.
Yeah, why not across the globe?
across the whole.
Yeah, they're being really exclusive there.
across the whole solar system. Come on.
No, across the galaxy far, far away, because Tatooine and send Tusken Raiders.
Yeah. And also that makes me think though. How do Mars Muslims pray? They're all facing the sky. They're not supposed to face the sky. One part of the Quran says you're not supposed to look up when you pray, but the Earth is up there, so you got to look up. That's where Mecca is. So Muslims in space are going to have horrible prayer problems.
Yeah.
Hey, what if they do? What will Muslims do if Islam is still around? A couple billion years from now, and there's no more Earth, and humanity or whatever species it involves into is scattered throughout the galaxy.
Well,
I did some amusing article, which of course was not appreciated by the SJW. I wrote a little thing about, Muslims, like on a space station, the thing goes around the Earth every 90 minutes. So prayers at most 30 minutes long. So do you sort of like do a sort of fetal position, groveling position, and you have your buddies keep facing you towards Mecca as it moves under you or something like that? So it looks bloody ridiculous. Or if you go into a colony ship which speeds up to close to the speed of light, so the time slows down, well, you still got to pray 5 times a day, but it's 5 times Earth days. 5 times a day Earth days, and if a time is slowing down for you, you got to speed up. You got to keep praying more and more and more and more as the time dilation difference takes effect.
These are legitimate questions. I mean, Islam claims it has all the answers to pretty much every known problem. So what's the fucking answer here?
Yeah, or being up in the Arctic, like Alaskan Muslims, they are a sorry lot, because their evening prayer will never come during the 6 months or almost 6 months.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Ramadan,
summer.
You don't eat while the sun is up, so.
That's right. So if Ramadan comes up in the high summer in Alaska, you're not eating, you're fucking dead.
Well, how many Muslims are there in Alaska?
There's got to be at least a couple.
At least a couple.
I mean, more people live in Anchorage, Alaska than they do in Bangor, Maine, or even Portland, Maine.
I don't think they have any Muslims up in the Arctic because C4 needs to remain above a certain temperature to function.
Okay. Let's continue with this, because Pocahontas has something to say as well. The president is inciting violence against a sitting congresswoman. With the escalation of the overestimation of the threat levels. The next tweet will say that Trump literally, personally, killed her, just disposed of the body, and now is trying to say that she never existed, and going around and erasing her records from history, to pretend that she would never existed.
Sharing this video is inciting violence against Ian Omar. Then would that? How about that ad put out by that conservative Never Trump PAC, likening Trump to Hitler?
Yeah.
Is that not also violent?
It was.
Well, no, it's always right when it's left.
Well, when what's his name? When Riley Dennis did a video about fighting words, she used a case. Hitler Mussolini. She used a case. Is like, oh yeah, but fighting words don't include free speech. She didn't mention that this very case was over the word fascist.
Yeah, because it's true.
It's like way to prove a lot of our points. It's like, oh yeah, well, yeah, those are fighting words. It's like, and apparently it's not under free speech. Yeah, so stop calling someone a fucking fascist, because he will be legitimate into biting your face off.
Nice. Let's see. Okay, so an entire group of Americans based on their religion. What the fuck is she even talking about? Bernie Sanders, Pete Buttplug. After 9/11, we all said we were changed, that we were stronger and more united. That's what Never Forget was about. Now a president uses the dark day to incite his base against a member of Congress as if for sport. As we learned nothing today about the workings of hate. Yeah, sure. Tweeting about making fun of someone who said stupid shit is just literally as bad as terrorist act.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the
of course.
Okay. I have meme on point.
Okay.
J Incel, son. President Trump's inflammatory and dangerous rhetoric towards Ilhan Omar is jeopardizing her safety. Yeah.
She's jeopardizing her own safety.
He's deliberately putting her and all Muslim Americans in harm's way. If I didn't show you the original tweet Trump posted, would you have guessed what he tweeted? You would think that he tweeted,
No.
let's lynch her.
Yeah. No, she's putting so much her own career in jeopardy. It should be the remake of the famous game show.
I like how Nancy Pelosi, of all people, is less retarded. She didn't say that Trump is literally putting someone's life in danger.
At least.
I like this serious exam with parentheses. Oh, this is so fucking stupid. So let's see. Democratic 2020 hopefuls condemn Trump's Ilhan Omar tweet. Pelosi not so much. So who would have guessed that Pelosi, of all people, is the voice of reason? Well, relatively speaking.
No one. No one would have.
Because Pelosi is at least tactically smart, in the sense she knows that these fuckwits are probably going to drive the are doing what pretty much she knows. These dipshits are going to ensure that the Democrats probably never win significantly ever again, and she's trying to fix that.
Yeah.
So she's not trying to go too overboard with her criticisms of the president.
Yeah, because the thing is that like the only way she will retain Speaker of the House beyond anything else is she has to be reelected.
Yeah.
So, fuck whatever else. She doesn't care which Democrats stay in office as long as they hold the simple majority that keeps her a Speaker of the House. But she needs to make sure that her constituents view her as reasonable enough to let her stay there.
Oh, by the way, if you thought that leftists stopped being retarded after that, well, no, actually, they managed to continue being stupid. So this is what Trump tweeted yesterday, I think. Yeah, due to the fact that Democrats are unwilling to change our very dangerous immigration laws, we are indeed, as reported, giving strong considerations to placing illegal immigrants in sanctuary cities only. The radical left always seems to have an open borders, open arms policy, so this should make them very happy. And why would any leftist be against this? If they are for open borders, why would they be against this? But guess what? They were not happy at all. Like, look at this reaction. This is so sick, twisted. White House proposed releasing immigrant detainees in sanctuary cities targeting political foes.
Does she mean that Trump has like 30,000 hitmen? Yeah, that's a lot of money to spend.
I think
was he implying that illegal immigrants might be dangerous?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it sounds like.
Yeah, it does. Of course, maybe I'm being of bad faith.
Targeting political foes, if all this diversity and enrichment and having all these unskilled, illiterate third worlders is a good thing, then why is it considered targeting? He's more or less rewarding his political foes, if that's really the case, right?
Yeah. And one of the big arguments given for why sanctuary cities are a good thing is because it provides a place of safety and where immigrants can feel safe from being harassed by law enforcement. So
yeah, he's doing this. It's a good thing. Because sanctuary cities means they're going to protect people from the Modern Gestapo, ICE. Remember?
That's probably where they would go anyway. So I don't know.
Yeah, so he's just cutting out the middleman. Sanctuary cities is where those illegals tend to coalesce. So why just cut out the unnecessary steps and just put them there directly? And
well, I know what Trump's doing. He's just saying, well, yeah, you want immigrants? You love immigrants so much. Well, guess what? You're gonna have plenty of them.
You want it?
Like,
yours,
don't you dare fucking complain because you're a sanctuary city. Once you get them, well, you keep them. What was it? Retaking a gift. That's stealing. Trump is not a thief.
Like, means be careful what you wish for.
Oh yes, be very, very careful.
Be very afraid. What do you respond to this? And okay, let's talk about something completely different. Let's talk about did you actually talk about Avenatti? And remember how Avenatti was heralded as like this great leftist hero, the almost like a messiah, and even hopeful presidential candidate in 2020. This is
yep.
After he came out with a statement that the only person who could probably beat Trump is another white man. So,
well, as if
he's not gonna. It's certainly not white man. It certainly isn't this white man. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, that white man can only beat his girlfriend. Allegedly.
Yeah. He'd rather beat his girlfriend than his meat.
By the way, did we talk about him? The two separate allegations against him, because now there are more. Did we talk about the allegations about extortion and allegations about scamming his client out of money?
I don't remember if we talked about it, but I've heard of it for sure.
Let's talk about this.
Aware of it.
So apparently, I don't know where he's supposed to be like this celebrity attorney, and those really their services don't come cheap, and yet apparently I don't know, maybe he's that's where his commission goes all the time, because apparently he's in dire straits. So his restaurant business is not doing well, even though he the third allegation is that he didn't pay his taxes, even not paying taxes, and still his not restaurant business, like coffee shop business, not same thing.
Wait, do you mean he did the same thing everyone accused Trump of?
That's the thing. Since the Mueller probe didn't go anywhere, now leftists are talking about the Trump showed the tax returns. Like, why? What's the
because
point?
they absolutely want something.
They don't have anything. Okay, I found.
Yeah, now that the Mueller investigation turned out to be bunk, they need to find something else to try to dig up. Personally, I couldn't give two fucking shits what the president pays in taxes. I didn't care what Obama paid in taxes. I don't even give a shit what Bernie Sanders pays in taxes or any of these fucking people. I don't know why they do.
Well, the thing is that they try to paint this. Oh, he doesn't want to release this information. There's something shady. Well, why would he release information? It's not like even his idea. He doesn't file his taxes by himself. When you're rich, and have so many businesses, you have entire staff of people who do it for you. And his attorney said that it's a bad idea to release it, and because why would you release? Some things are better left confidential for this reason. So, anyways, I found this. Let's start with this article, because it's if we managed not to talk about that, I think we mentioned. Well, let's talk about it anyways, because there are more allegations. So first, this is Michael Avenatti arrested and charged with embezzlement and attempt to extort Nike. Those are two separate cases. Like he allegedly embezzled money from one client and allegedly attempted to extort Nike. It's completely separate from that, but there's more coming. So there's a guy, the creepy
Creepy porn lawyer.
Yeah. He was. Remember when he was on CNN all the time, and they, paraded, or how, I'd like to say it, gave platform to him. Because apparently, if you give platform to someone, you are responsible if this someone is turned out to be a fucking degenerate. Although then again, it's CNN. What do you expect? Okay, so on Monday morning, Monday, when was it? Oh, it's like in March. We probably talked about this. So on Monday, March something, attorney Michael Avenatti surfaced on Twitter promising to uncover a blockbuster scandal involving Nike and some of the biggest names in college basketball. Less than an hour later, federal prosecutors in New York announced that Avenatti was under arrest for allegedly trying to extort millions from the sports gear giant. Part of a web of criminal charges that, if proven, could send a 40-year-old lawyer to prison for decades. So, but this was written before new allegations surfaced, so it can get even worse. Like, even as events in Manhattan were unfolding, Avenatti was accused in Santa Ana of embezzling from a client's $1.6 million legal settlement to cover personal expenses and buttress his troubled coffee business. How bad is your coffee business if you need like millions of dollars to, cover for it? I mean, if you have millions in debt, well, maybe you should have closed your business before you get that far. Also, embezzling money. Did he think that nobody would notice sooner or later? I mean, how do you become a celebrity attorney if you are so bad at this?
You just do. You just do. It's probably natural to him.
California and Washington State. Well, again, business in California, Washington State. So in California, like with high taxes. Well, then again, he allegedly didn't pay taxes. So yeah. Avenatti also stands accused of bank fraud. So it's completely separate.
Yes. He's got bank fraud, extortion,
and embezzlement
fraud to the IRS. It's just a whole slew of things. If I think it's Philip DeFranco that said that, if every single if every single charges he has goes to the max, he could face up to 300 years without the extortion. That's not all. That's not all. That's just like he's got like 30 charges. So if they decided to throw the book at him, which could be very possible, he would be just like, Jesus Christ, that guy, 300 years cumulative.
The wire fraud. It's a bank fraud. So he wanted to get a loan. So he pretended to pay more taxes than he did because apparently he didn't pay anything in taxes. So Together, legal Avenatti used media exposure to secure clients in high-profile cases tied to Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court. So basically, he attached himself to anything that's publicly discussed as a leech to just get notoriety, because apparently notoriety.
Basically.
President, it was just a few months ago. Avenatti campaign. Yay. Also, by the way, allegedly, what he did, he contacted Nike and told them, was it via phone or in person? Oh, I think it was.
No, it wasn't. It was on the phone. Yeah, I think it was on the phone because the extortion charge, it's federal because he did it for some stupid fucking reason. He did it across state in a different state, so that makes it a federal crime.
Well, for some reason he thought that he would get away with this. I mean, they recorded him saying that you'll suffer more in damages to your reputation if you don't pay me. And when they didn't want to pay him, he decided to start doing what he threatened to do after they recorded what he threatened. So he set himself up for failure immediately, because this is, if you're going to threaten people, don't expose this, at least I don't know if the information he was trying to present to people is true or not. But even if it's true, trying to extort, if the information was true,
it's still extortion.
He should not expose this information himself. He should have done it via proxy, because when you he left trails leading to himself several times. It's so bad.
Yeah, he left quite the paper trail.
Yeah, it's also.
No, you don't play chicken with a big company like that.
Yeah, because even if those allegations are true, now when the extortion surfaced, nobody would believe those allegations anyways. And if those allegations are true, is a big if. So,
oh my god!
But it's another article, Wall Street Journal. Well, attempted, so maybe. Okay, it's the Wall Street Journal give them money. No thanks. Okay, there's this. Let's see. There's another article about this.
Uh-oh. Don't say that. No.
Let's take a look at this one. Oh yeah, this it's a recent one from April 11. Fed sees Michael Avenatti's $4.5 million plane amid tech scandals. Well, maybe if your business is struggling, you shouldn't extort people or embezzle funds. You should sell your plane. I mean, you don't need a personal plane, especially
one that costs that amount of money.
I think that maybe I know why his his business is struggling. He has no idea how to properly manage finances. If you buy a personal plane, if your business is doing well and you're sure about your financial future. Okay, so embattled lawyer Michael Avenatti was the subject of a federal warrant Wednesday that resulted in the seizure of his private jet, worth about $4.5 million.
Oh, that guy is gonna be bled dry.
The spokesman confirmed that federal agents seized Honda. Let's see what this plane looks like. It's probably a really good-looking plane. Those private jets. Oh yeah, look at this. Pretty slick. Yeah, it's
a nice-looking plane.
Yeah. Well, yeah, someone else, not Avenatti, will be.
Well, it's very. Since it's made by a Honda, I know it's not Mitsubishi, but still go with the meme. I'd say his financial situation matched with the origin of the plane. It's gonna come crashing down.
Something wrong? We too low?
Well, it's not something wrong because it's by design with the kamikaze attacks. It's like I know it's not Mitsubishi, but still, it's Japanese.
Federal authorities have seized the jet owned by Mr. Avenatti. Oh, co-owned. So it's not wasn't even his.
It's not even his own. So who the fuck else owns this thing then?
I guess maybe co-owned. Maybe it's like partially owned by a business. If it's like it wouldn't be a private jet then. It would be like asset of the company. But then if the company goes under, the asset gets liquidated. So. But if it's a private jet and the companies are limited, so he gets to. Well, he would get to keep it, but owned by Mr. Avenatti, pursuant to seizure warrant issued by a federal judge. The seizure is related to the pending criminal case in Los Angeles. Avenatti told Fox News on Wednesday, "I haven't used the plane in almost a year, and I gave up my interest last year. I have no interest in the plane and could care less." Well, could care less.
It's couldn't care less.
Oh.
Everyone always fucks it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he still cares. News reached out to. Well, if I was writing this article, I would put "sick" in the parentheses to show because.
What the fuck does "sick" mean? I never get it.
It means that if there's if something is written incorrectly, either a typo or some grammatical error or something that is not properly worded. It's not the who wrote the article, but they're quoting someone verbatim.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So sic is Latin for as such. So it doesn't mean that the writer was making a mistake. He was quoting somebody else who made a mistake.
Okay.
But basically, it's a polite way to. It's a way to show that someone is an idiot without calling them an idiot.
Okay.
So the 6-seat business jet was flown by a private contract pilot to. No, so again, it doesn't matter who flown this jet to the airport. Was being held in federal court. Records indicate that the plane bought on January was registered to passport 420. Blaze it, faggot. I'm gonna smoke weed to the rest of my life. I'm in love with Mary Jane. I'm gonna make it my wife. Gonna smoke weed till the end I die.
Now you just reminded me of the fucking Snoop Dogg Pokemon smoke weed thing. You've seen that, right?
Maybe.
All right, fine. I gotta fucking find it now. But keep going.
Well, actually, if you have a link, I could start playing it and grab a coffee.
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
Well, I found something different but still relevant. Oh, it's like I'm finding the better quality. This the original is no longer there, but okay.
Okay, I found it.
Okay, let's see. Because this you can see the quality is really potato, and the original channel I think it did it himself, but maybe it's where do you post it? Oh,
it's in our...
Okay, now I found it. Okay, let me play it, and I'll be right back.
Smoke every day, weed every day. We smoke weed every day. Every day, smoke every day. Smoke weed, smoke every day. Every day, weed, smoke every day. Smoke weed every day. Smoke every day, weed every day. Smoke weed, smoke every day. Every day, smoke weed, smoke every day. Smoke every weed every day. Smoke weed every day. Every day, smoke every day. Every day, smoke weed, smoke every day. Smoke every weed every day. Every day, smoke every weed. Every day, smoke weed every day.
God, that was the best. One of the best. Yeah, it's kind of quiet now that there's really just three of us. Dracopole has muted himself for some reason.
I actually,
I'm censored.
after seeing the shark bong, I actually wanted to make a Pikachu one.
Yeah, I could see that. So let's say, are we going to get around to talking about fucking Julian Assange this stream? I guess we should ask.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's a big one.
Interesting story, too. Like, I really don't know where to stand on that one because I didn't know what it was that he had the actual warrant out for. And if what I heard is actually true, then I actually support him being arrested because what he did, I mean, what he did was in fact going into treason. I mean, he's done a lot of great things.
He's not a
U.S. citizen.
Yeah, he's an Australian. So
who are we talking about?
We're talking about Assange.
Then actually, I mean, it like basically like what I heard he did was he went into unauthorized servers and everything else looking for stuff. It wasn't a matter of he heard something and and was doing a the civic duty thing. He was hacking. He was going into stuff that was there was no law that excused what he did.
Yeah, if there's true hacking, it's like then.
On top of the fact that he was working with Chelsea fucking Manning.
Well, I don't think he actually did the hacking himself. I think they're just making that up just so they could try to get him.
Oh, okay. By the way, so this is the plane.
Because also pretty interesting that that the IMF gave Ecuador $4.2 billion. The day he got arrested.
Oh yeah.
This isn't anything new. I believe back in 2001. It's pretty interesting because I'm going to release that video probably in a couple hours. Back in 2001, the IMF gave Serbia $1 billion worth of financial aid after they handed Milosevic over to The Hague. And
I mean, it's pretty obvious, what was going on there. I mean, the whole Assange thing is I saw somebody had shared a link to the entire WikiLeaks, files.
The indictment?
No, everything. I actually posted it in the chat. But
yeah, Glebs downloaded it last night.
Yeah, it's like a complete archive.
It's but the thing is I went and I shared the link, I shared a post that I'd seen on it because I was like, I went and just took a look at it. I was not aware there was that much, and I was just like, holy crap, I didn't know there was this much of it when I shared the post,
I thought it was also
later on. Facebook has been deleting every mention of WikiLeaks that they can.
Oh yeah, they've been doing that for quite a while now. I remember my mom runs the town's GOP Facebook page, and she would try to share WikiLeaks stuff, but it wouldn't let it. It just wouldn't let her do it.
It violates community policy on sharing hack sites or pirate sites or something.
Well, I mean, it's not a pirate site, and given that in the U.S. There was a law that as even if obtaining this documentation was illegal, but when it was already obtained by someone and released, then it is explicitly permissible to report on it and use this information as for investigative journalism. So. When it's already out, genie out of the bottle, well, it's totally legal to make use of it. But
yeah, wasn't it a couple years ago? This one hacker group got a third of everyone in Turkey's personal information, then released it to the internet, and that was legal to obtain.
By the way,
all of those stories kind of blend, so I don't know.
Let's maybe just for shits and giggles, let's talk about something less serious but much more retarded. You know how lately Star Wars has been going to the going woker and woker, and their new fans are they wanted to get woke brownie points, and now they have to suffer because the fans that remain, because people who are not SJWs, they really don't want to stick around with this, and those who do stick around, well, you know how SJWs are. Basically, let me just find this link. One moment.
Yeah, everybody is like, "Oh my God, is Palpatine coming back?" And
oh right, yeah.
Well,
I sure thought that Julian Assange's thing, the link he shared, I sure thought it was something new. Just like, yeah, it must be a bombshell if he put it on a dead man switch.
No, it's not dead man switch. It's like literally the whole archive. I don't think there was any dead man switch. He was cut out from the internet for quite a while. Well, maybe there still is, because his older dead man switches were huge archives that were password protected, and you could download them before that. But apparently, if something happened, someone would release the encryption key. But the problem is that there's no way to verify that there was anything in this archive. It could be just random data. You can bluff. Others would be none the wiser. But
like I said, when I saw it, I was just surprised that there was that much.
Okay, so there's actually this story. While we were streaming, this story got further, and it gets even more retarded. So just some backstory. Official Star Wars account, verified, and Star Wars, they decided to just post, poll. Can you guess where this went wrong? So
where did it go wrong?
Yeah, if you were part of the Star Wars universe, what side would you be on? Star Wars Celebration. Oh yeah, there's a Star Wars Celebration going on now. Oh, this celebration was already mired in scandals before it even began, and usually because there were a lot of SJWs, and they were already started being persecuted even before it started. The dumbest thing I've heard before this happened is that there was a planned panel about Raylo shipping. So I mean, if you are a corporation, you probably want to make your fans feel included, even those shippers. If you don't know what shipper is basically someone who is too invested in the romantic and or sexual life of a fictional character, so they fantasize about certain characters having romantic and or
relationships
with other characters,
which is called shipping. So if you look, for example, those who ship Mare Sue with Kylo Ren, they even called Raylo. So there's the shipping. There's it's not the most degenerate. The most degenerate is slashing. Slashing is the same, only it's just for fucking and not anything more meaningful. I mean, I'm not saying that
more carnal and degenerate. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that friendship with benefits or just down to fuck without any obligations is necessarily degenerate. But if you are so invested in I don't care about my own personal life as much as these people care about the fictional sexual life of fictional characters in the fictional universe that don't exist and
never will.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's well, usually I would say that it's a compliment to the writer if they manage to create characters so compelling that people actually really care about their fictional whereabouts. But Ray, Kyle, come on, they're not well written. They're really fucking lazy. It's just
they're atrociously written characters.
The problem, I think, the reason is that people are so invested. Well, they joined because the brand was already. The new fans were, I wouldn't call them so-called fans. I mean, I'm not going to be like a
fans of the sequel. The unironic fans of the sequels.
Yeah, I mean, good for them if they can enjoy stuff that we might not enjoy. I mean, after all, if you can find enjoyment in entertainment, that's what entertainment is for. And just because you have really bad taste in fiction, that doesn't mean that we should berate you for it. Well, we will, but it doesn't have to be.
We will, but it's not that we should.
Again, still, I mean, good for you if you can, actually unironically enjoy without, mental gymnastics. Good for you. I mean, not everything I enjoy is actually really high quality. But anyways,
very high quality.
Yeah. The problem is that people who, first of all, people who are into this shipping too much, it's Tumblr crowd, and they're really immature both by age and by mental condition.
Yeah, These are the same fucking people who like have these sexual fantasies involving like fucking Disney characters. I mean, so go figure.
This there was this hypothesis that this might people who watch those anthropomorphic cartoon characters during puberty might be conditioned to get aroused by them, and then they become furries. And I don't know how true it is, but it's kind of plausible. And
well, I'm willing to invest in that, considering like how many fucking Sonic fans are furries.
Most.
Many.
Yeah.
Also,
I noticed that Sonic fans either tend to be either furries or trannies.
Well, the biggest Sonic fan isn't one, so
no, the biggest Sonic fan is tranny.
Yeah.
Also, if you take into account entertainment like this, you can see why some people might be conditioned to pop a boner every time they see a human-like creature covered in hair.
Furrier than average creature.
Yeah.
Didn't they make like a fucking?
Personally, I'm not into Lola Bunny, but I could see, like there are certain specific characters I could see, somebody liking and not being a furry. But pretty much, it's if you like you're a furry. But
yeah, I've come across a lot of people.
I can't see a non-furry liking.
I've seen a lot of fucking people who are like attracted to the fucking female dog from Goofy, I think it was, whatever its name is.
Huh?
No, it's just what from Goofy? What?
No, I mean I can understand like Lola Bunny, because Lola Bunny, I mean, other than the head, I mean,
no, I bet those people
are human-like, or like Gadget. It's like pretty much like every kid back in the '80s had the hot for Gadget. She was the friggin' chipmunk mechanic on Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers.
No, the whatever the girl from the Goofy movie was. I've met people who are into her for some reason.
Wait, yeah, there's fandoms for everything.
It's all this bullshit is slowly eroding my. Well, no, it's not slowly. It's very quickly blasting my hope in humanity. It's no small erosion.
Yeah.
Well,
there's something.
Well, I know we're talking about these degenerate freaks, as the name of our show implies, but you have to realize I don't think furries make up a sizable portion of the population, or at least I'd like to think so.
I like to hope so.
Anyways, I'm back. So, the reason
I only know one furry.
I mentioned the shippers. Okay, before I lose track of my.
Well, we were talking about furries and the shit they're into. I mean,
so the reason I mentioned shippers is that there's supposed to be a panel of Raylo shippers, and there also was panel of some other shippers. Again, they had a beef on Twitter, and so let me actually tell the story from the end. In the end, one of them started saying that someone threatened to shoot up the Raylo panel, and when people started pressing them for evidence, who was like, "Oh, I heard someone say," "Oh, who said it? I don't remember. Someone told me." Well, actually, there's this guy. I think it's this guy who writes for the Disney Star Wars is dumb. Was it Blogspot or was it? Well, some blogging site. The blog is called Disney Star Wars is dumb. Which is, it is. And he actually managed to get to the bottom of this. Can you guess where this quote-unquote death, the shoot-up threat was? Turns out that the whole panic was caused by someone posting a meme of some character from from a TV show holding a gun, and it wasn't like saying, "Oh yeah, I'll visit your panel." No, it's just a fucking stupid meme, like a normie tier meme. Was it like some character from Kardashians or something? I don't watch TV. I don't know, but apparently they saw a shitty meme. Like, I think this is one of those built-in Twitter memes where you can just add them because you're too lazy to make your own. and and they saw picture of someone holding a gun, and it means that they actually want to go there and shoot it. And this is how the panic spreads. I thought this was the dumbest thing about this about the Star Wars celebration, but apparently this happened. So yeah, the question was, would you be the Resistance or the First Order? And let's take a look at the reaction. Let me actually open imagining a tab and let's zoom in. Well, hopefully not the fucking space Nazis. Rick Scott.
Oh my
and
god!
Wait, look at this. It's fucking Hillary Clinton.
Anyway, the space Nazis. Sorry, space Nazis aren't in Star Wars. They're in Gundam.
One of the sides presented are literal Nazis. No, they're not literal Nazis. You know who are literal Nazis? Well, Nazis. Literal Nazis. But the First Order are not literal Nazis. They are metaphorical Nazis because they are supposed to be kind of like Nazis, but not Nazis. Yeah.
I mean, the Empire, and I guess by continuation, the First Order are supposed to be human supremacists in the lore.
Yeah, but the problem with their assertions, I know that they called stormtroopers because Nazis had stormtroopers and they modeled the uniforms from Nazis. Then again, it's the kind of lazy way to make the evil empire, just copy Nazis because Nazis are like a default evil empire inspiration.
It's the same thing. I mean, in friggin' Killzone, the Hellgas are basically space Nazis again.
Yeah, so it's
yeah, the fact that they actually had a fanfic panel officially being hosted by the actual studio, rather than at Dragon Con there are fanfic panels, but they are put on by people that volunteer to run the panel. You do not have Lucasfilm running a Star Wars fanfic panel.
Well, actually, it's not like it's not like official, but it's approved by the official, but it's run by those fans. But still, the thing is, like, why are you surprised that the Star Wars sequels, the quality of writing is literally as bad as fan fiction? And I say literally because it's literally someone found a piece of fan fiction that Rian Johnson plagiarized from. It's literal fan fiction. Not just like a comparison. It's literally pieces plagiarized from fan fiction. Now you know why it was so fucking shit. I guess not everyone's expectations were subverted because people couldn't predict it. Well, someone predicted it before you did it because you stole from them. So yeah. Are you seriously asking people if they wish to be part of the Space Nazis alliance? I mean, it's fictional Space Nazis, fictional alliance. And so it's not seriously asking. It's because there's no point of seriously asking because there's no way to join either Resistance or the First Order because they don't exist.
Yeah. Well, then again, these are like the same kind of people. Like if you sit there and you actually pay attention to the saber dueling community, you have people like me who. I pick Sith just because people are going to ask you whether you're Jedi or Sith, and I'm just like I'm Jedi. I carry a green blade so I can sneak up on them. I mean it's all in fun. Everybody knows I'm not serious or whatever. But then you have the gray Jedi motherfuckers.
They take it seriously.
Yeah, there's people that like gray Jedi are good guys with all of the cool powers. Or you have these fucknuts that come out with, the Gray Jedi is actually a secret organization that, we maintain the balance and will kill Sith or Jedi as needed. And it's like...
Oh, yeah, they're good guys. They just assassinate people they don't like. Totally good guys. Gray Jedi, more like gay Jedi, am I right?
That's why I like, fuck it, I'm beige Jedi. which is actually a thing. Google it. It's like, you know, it's actually the beige Jedi code is actually kind of fun.
Oh, by the way, look at this. Jörg Tittel. There are very fine people on both sides, Donald Trump. Yeah, I'm sure Donald Trump meant the resistance and the First Order when he said that. Also, look at this soy face. It's like if Monday and Matt was on.
The faggot looks like Destiny.
He looks what Monday and Matt.
He probably has a few feet over him.
Also, a big fuck you to whoever at Disney Star Wars felt that asking people whether they'd like to be space Nazis was a good idea. Yeah. See, Disney, this is what happens when you try to pander to SJWs. Oh, what the fuck? 1. A reminder. Someone at Disney sign off on this. Yes, and 2. Right, a quarter of Star Wars fans are Nazis. Yeah, only a quarter. Those are rookie numbers. We need more. Like, we need 100% space Nazis.
Well, these are probably the same people who think fucking Harry Potter is real. They RP it every time they go to an Antifa protest or whatever. So of course they can't distinguish between, you know, fictional space would-be Nazis in fiction versus the real life ones.
Speaking of Harry Potter, I'm never getting tired of this. I guess let's see. Sadly, Chris LeBeouf.
Any relation with Shia?
Chris Bob Gray. Okay. Sadly, asking Star Wars fans if they identify with the fucking space Nazis is a valid question these days. Well, I identify with Sheev Palpatine, so, you know.
What if I identify with Watto in the first one, the space Jew?
Or someone called Fake and Gay. This is the dumbest question I've ever seen. Well, you haven't seen many questions then, because...
Listen, I gotta bow out, guys. I gotta say goodnight.
All right.
And see you next time.
See you.
Okay, let's see. This is the dumbest question I've ever seen. No wonder we are where we are. We are. You are literally glorifying the space literally glorifying the space Nazis. Because asking people, it's the same as glorifying them.
You know, I thought the space Nazis were in the movie fucking Iron Skies. Anyone remember that?
Oh yeah.
I don't remember.
Well, it's not thematically, but in the not my themes. No, it's in tonally kind of similar to Confury, maybe kind of. It's about Hitler wasn't killed. He actually went to the secret Nazi moon base and then planned the invasion to Earth with space magic.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, like, this is the kind of crap why I walked away from Star Wars. Like, I'm done. And the people that are doing the crap that have made me walk away will never understand why what they're doing is so bad. People like them, when they find out that I've walked away from Star Wars, they're like, yeah, we got rid of another white male, whatever, It's like, to them, they count it as a victory. What they don't realize is that, like, I don't give a shit about the politics. It's the fact that they are what has driven me away from the fandom, is because I don't want to keep having to interact with people like them.
Let's see. I need to.
Yeah, that's why I really don't want these people in the 40K fandom.
Well, I mean, 40K fandom is probably not easy to conquer by them because, well, first of all, it's grim dark, and these people, if they start learning about the lore, they will get triggered and leave on their own. I mean, come on, it's
I mean, you'll see a bunch of this type in the Facebook groups and whatever else, but they don't show up to actual games because people don't put up with that shit face to face.
Yeah. Also,
I'm looking for it's like, oh, you want space Nazis? Well, then I'm trying to find the death count of Operation British and Gundam. That shit was pretty big.
Well, let's see. Holy shit! Disney and Star Wars currently has a poll asking if you more closely align with freedom fighters or Nazis. Well, I mean, given that the Last Jedi ended with the freedom fighters being, getting their shit pushed in, and the space Nazis being, almost impossible to defeat, well, just don't pick the losing side. 1/3 aligned with, you guessed it, Nazis. Checks out. The side that isn't modeled after present-day Nazi fanboys. Present-day Nazi fanboys.
How does that work?
Apparently, present-day Nazi fanboys, they have, those blasters and spaceships. You know what? Now I am interested in becoming, modern-day Nazi fanboy if I get all those cool toys to play with. Speaking of, before I forget, let me real quickly show something slightly related, but even more retarded than this, if you can believe it. Remember movie Blob Chipmunk? This.
Fuck him. Are you talking about the shit he tweeted about earlier this week?
Yeah, this one. In the past, he has always had the really, really bad takes, but at least those takes were somewhat coherent. You could actually understand what he meant. But this, I'm at a loss. Let me read this. 2019.
The current year, everyone.
I was supposed to be on a starship by now, conversing with intelligent robots. Well, why would intelligent robots talk to a retard like this? If they're intelligent, they wouldn't talk to him. Deciding what sort of body I'd like to upload my immortal consciousness to. Instead, we are all still on this fucking rock, wondering how to placate the quote-unquote white working class. I'll never forgive the troglodytes who stole the future I earned to prolong their worthless existence.
How did you earn this future, Bob?
The only thing you earned...
A future which apparently...
By making a 5-year-long...
his worthless existence.
By starring in your own series for 5 fucking years, where you played everybody on your own show and spouted off your opinions that no one really gave a shit about.
I mean, it was pretty impressive for someone to accuse others of being conspiracy theorists, and right after that saying that they are part of the conspiracy to not allow Hillary Clinton to become president. That's what the point of Gamergate was. This lack of self-awareness rivals that of David Shitrat. So it's impressive in a way, in a very retarded way, but still impressive. But this, by the way, there was this a video on YouTube. Basically, a bunch of people played the game called Guess If It's... one of them was reading quotes, and people had to guess if it was like a neo-Nazi or Bob Chipman. Well, one of them said that the rule of thumb is if the quote kind of makes sense and is, there is something intelligent in this quote, it's not Bob Chipman. If it makes sense, it's a Nazi quote. If it's like a ravings of a lunatic, it's Bob Chipman. Yeah, it's pretty much... Seriously, what is he implying? Is he implying that placating white working class prevented people from conquering space or something? Does he not realize that these things... No, one single event doesn't postpone these things like for decades or centuries. We are very far from intelligent robots, and if you are worried about the uprising of the machines, remember that the first one of the first security robots in the Korean mall just drowned itself on the first day of work in the pool.
If you had to work in a Korean mall, wouldn't you off yourself?
Maybe this robot was intelligent after all. Like, there was a joke about U.S. Army.
Listen to K-pop all day. I'm sorry. I'm finding Nirvana.
U.S. Army admitted complete failure of the smart smart bomb project, because the first smart bomb refused to be thrown away of the plane. Yeah, too smart for this shit. Anyways, what was it? Oh yeah, uploading. Does he think that uploading consciousness is so easy? If it was easy, someone would already do it. First of all, people kind of have a vague idea how human consciousness works and how memories work. But the memories and the neural network, it's pretty much what you remember, how you think, and how everything works. It's in the way that neurons are connected to each other. The problem is the complexity. You can emulate simple neural networks really, really well. We've had this technology for many, many decades. You can even train those virtual neural network to do interesting stuff. Like, for example, you can there's this software called Waifu2X. Yeah, I'm not a wee bit. But yeah, what it does, it's pretty much if you it's called Waifu2X because it works really well with like drawn images like from like anime and cartoons and stuff like that. Basically, if you use normal image image enlarging algorithms, it becomes blurry. But if you do this, it was pretty much how it was trained. There was a huge set of images, like high resolution images. They made them smaller and then fed the data into the neural network, so it sees the difference when those two images of the same thing, but small and large. And since the large was made originally, it wasn't blurry, like if you enlarge the small one. And then it trained this neural network to understand how to enlarge a small image and keep it sharp. And that's why unlike those normal image enlargements, it actually is pretty decent. It's actually really good for old low resolution memes. It enlarges them and keeps them sharp. I can actually show you a couple examples. I have somewhere. And also to speed up the process, you can use the GPU core for that, because the software rendering is really, really slow for this stuff. And by the way, it's this neural network is nowhere nearly as complex as human brain, and it takes it takes a lot of resources to do this stuff. And if we just copy the human state of someone's brain, obviously not Chipmun's, because who the fuck needs a virtual version of Bob Chipman? One Bob Chipman is one too many. So
yeah.
Okay, so let me show. There was this meme. Remember when Diablo Immortal was revealed and people were not amused, and one guy asked them. So this is the original image, full resolution. So if you zoom in, you see blurry and also some JPEG artifacting. So this algorithm not only enlarges it properly, but also can remove noise and other stuff. So this is enlarged version. You can see that if you zoom in. Oh yeah, I shouldn't zoom in too much because I only enlarged it like 2 times. So it's not well, but still, if you compare them, actually, let me compare them side by side. If you the same size, you can see the difference, right?
Yeah.
And there was no manual tweaking, just like default settings. I wonder if viewers are interested in listening about this stuff, but
so yeah, I think I found my 310. Okay, in Gundam Xeon, the real space Nazis have gassed multiple colonies, which each contain 3 to 10 million people under normal conditions within an hour.
They are not just Nazis, but also Nazi Zionists.
It's like within an hour. So this is quite the quite efficiency compared to ground Nazis.
Well, I have a picture for that.
Ooh.
Anyways, enough about Bob Chipman. Let's take a look at let's see the profound dark. Wait, is StarWars.com legitimizing space Nazis? Who are you, the U.S. president? The profound dark, more like the profound dork.
I don't think they know that Harry Potter is fiction.
Oh, wait. The last one is the best. The last one is the best one. Listen to this. Normalization of fascism continues at Disney, I see. And his Twitter handle is Billy C. Bolshevik. You know, if you have Bolshevik in the name, you shouldn't talk shit about Nazis. You are like just as bad, if not worse.
Weren't the Bolsheviks the Russian Nazis, basically?
Oh, the Russian commies. And if you compare, how...
Well, Stalin didn't like Jews either.
Yeah, but he actually, when he persecuted Jews, he didn't call them Jews. He called them ruthless cosmopolites. So it's not anti-Semitism. It's called them by some name.
They were capitalist pigs.
By the way, if you compare victims of Nazism and victims of communism, well, there's no contest. So,
yeah.
By the way, and it continues with...
it was a crypto-fascism.
So yeah, they deleted their tweet.
Well, I for one, I would join the resistance just because how lame the First Order is.
I mean, it's like both are retarded. I mean, I don't know. It's like
I join the side that I'm most likely to get a lightsaber on.
Well, given that the Luke became didn't train Jedi, instead of just decided to go into seclusion and just wank
and drink
skills.
Milk directly from the city.
I want a buzzy glow stick that can cut through steel. I don't give a shit about Jedi training.
Also, well, it's that was it about Star Wars and SJW chimp out. Just a small change of topic there, just to keep it. Today we have very few people and kind of a bit low energy. Well, at least we were really.
You should take a Trump high energy pill.
Oh. Okay, so let's see what else do. Oh, I need to remove Colbert. I don't want to, promote bad ideologies, would I? Right?
Right. That's right.
That's right. Because Oh, and
when the soy hits,
you can't make this up. So, camera. Marin is Jedi. I did notice some of the messages. It says, Wi-Fi 2X incredibly useful to textures and clean up references. Yeah, and as I said, that it has the denoiser and the artifactor. The original romanization was Zion. Oh yeah, it's about the Gundam. Oh yeah. Anyways, let's see what else we have on. Oh well, we can take a look at some. Well, it's stupid, but not. It's entertaining, but not very. Just some SJW, ally of feminists, otherwise known as future rapist, because how they rape spect women.
Yeah.
We have who said this? Oh, it's this stupid bitch, Kim Fox. It's not Kim Fox. It said actually Representative Bobby Rush said that Chicago's police union is the sworn enemy of black people, which is interesting because the main guy in charge of the Chicago police is black, but I guess he's race straight or something.
Probably something like that. Hey, well, weren't they the who said that?
Representative Bobby Rush, obviously Democrat.
Well, I'm pretty sure she or he complained that when Trump called fake news media the enemy of the people. So I don't know, glass houses. Just saying.
Well, I mean, if they didn't have double standards, they would have no standards at all. So
true that. True that.
Since we're called ultra degeneracy, let's talk about some not mild degeneracy compared to our usual topics.
Right, once again.
Yeah, let's take a
All
look.
right, I'm back.
Welcome back. So, yeah.
Good.
The Simpsons showrunner Lisa Simpson, possibly polyamorous, bisexual. Okay.
Polyamorous. It's basically it's the nice way to say slut.
Yeah, I'm surprised that I haven't seen more stuff like this after the whole Apu incident.
Which is strange because, it was like 3 years ago when The Simpsons released that episode making fun of SJWs. I mean, they were kind of a little late to the plot on that one, but this, along with the fact that it's been on for 30 fucking years now, it's just proof that, The Simpsons was my favorite show growing up, but it's way past time for it to die.
Yeah.
It's like,
not necessarily because of this. This is just one of the things, but it's still.
I think the
Simpsons kind of sadly. I as much as I hate to say it, the Simpsons overstayed its welcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Usually, those shows should quit while they're ahead.
They milk the cow so much, the milk has become stale.
I mean, amazingly, South Park still manages to remain pretty fresh, even though that's been on for 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had a couple of bad seasons before, but usually they're pretty good.
Yeah.
What I've
At
heard
staying
that
relevant.
The Simpsons, they lost a lot of their original writers. So, and the writers that came to replace them, their style of is more akin to that of what's the show was called? Big Bang Theory, where without the laugh track, it's just sad. So, more than Simpson, you can imagine a laugh track, and it makes too much sense.
Family Guy's also overstayed its welcome.
Family Guy, I think. The name of the guy who what's the name of the guy who runs Family Guy?
Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane. So all right, okay. I think he wanted to kill the show for a long time, but he wasn't. They wouldn't let him because remember Brian, the dog. Brian was kind of his self-insert character in a way.
Yeah,
and he even uses Brian, especially in the later seasons, just use him as a just as a soapbox basically. And they used to use Brian to kind of make fun of uptight liberals, but now just he's literally projecting himself. Remember when this episode where Brian died, and it was kind of like symbolic of him. Like he killed his self-insert character, and kind of like
hello, welcome to the Big Bong Theory. Oh wait, I'm not Apu anymore. Ah.
Good to see you've been listening to us.
Yeah, I've been trying, because apparently leave before 7 means don't consider leaving until after 7.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens.
At work.
So, anyways, let's take a look at the article itself, because kind of managed to go off topic before going on topic. Gene screenwriter.
Sorry, James, I think she's too crazy for you. Abort.
Lisa Simpson may turn out polyamorous. Well, if the thing is that does this factor into the
also
story?
It's a fucking child. Who's writing? Amos Yee?
Yeah, Lisa's only 8 years old. Holy shit, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Funny how that works, isn't it?
Well, if she was 9 years old, she could say that Shrek is love. I almost said
the character's run by Steven Universe Model Logic, where a 14-year-old looks like a fucking baby, and the characters somehow get younger over time. Oh no, wait, that's shitty artist bullshit.
Well, but actually, you know what? Speaking of inconsistencies between, same character inconsistently looks in different episodes. Turns out that this one show that is really, really infamous for this. Well, apparently I don't watch it, but apparently it's like what's the name? Where these space lesbian gems. What's it called? Oh yeah, Steven Universe. Yeah, that's
I just said it.
Oh yeah, you said it. I just missed it. Yeah, the thing is that it's not shitty artists. It's the Korean studio that does it. It also the same studio does animation.
No, it's not actually the studio.
Yeah,
the boards are in the board. The storyboarders are literally told draw whatever the fuck you want. The goddamn Koreans will do whatever.
Yeah, well that's the thing.
It's in the Sugar wrote in the model sheets. You can break them the fuck over a table if you think it's going to look funny.
Yeah, but the thing is that the studio they get the storyboards and they draw them the way they don't try to improve or like interpret
that's not their job.
They will draw it. They don't care about your consistency because you as the showrunner you have to care about consistency and other stuff. And good show.
And multiple cartoons are guilty of this because CalArts aesthetic, even though Sugar came from fucking the New York art school. But I love how fucking people without an art degree try to tell me how terminology is created. It's like, well, people with the CalArts style, a couple of them didn't come from CalArts. Yeah, but that's where the majority of the style started. Hence the name. It doesn't matter if you can pick and choose a couple artists who use that style from a different art house. That's not how terminology works. Go take my degree and I will shove it up your ass.
Also, I've heard that people who are like, in the
not how anything works.
I've heard that they don't like people who work in animation. They really hate the term CalArts style, so they prefer generic style, which is kind of almost like a derogatory term. Because if you call something generic, generic is rarely a good thing.
It's funny because there are shows with, quote, CalArts style that look good, like regular show, because there's actually a consistent style and everything doesn't go off model 5 seconds. And also it's not trying to pretend to be anything bigger. It's just a dumb comedy and it's actually fun.
Oh, I think I've seen the pictures of the those reference sheets and storyboards that they use. They like, normally what they would do, they would have like the bare minimum would be like the 8 was it 8 like 8 rotations of the character, like front.
You can do 8, you can do 5. It depends on the studio. It also depends. They're like I actually have a lot of animation reference material in my house, but you'll have like a basic 4 turnaround or even 3 turnaround, depending. But you'll also have ancillary model sheets for detail, usually used as style guides. And the funny thing is, your boards don't even have to be that detailed, depending on your animation flow. Like several of the most famous anime storyboard artists, it's really just gesture drawing, but they're so good at it, they don't have to be. Like, not every frame is, like, very detailed because the important part in those boards is to illustrate motion and positioning.
Yeah.
And the people taking those boards, they have reference material. This blob is this character, and it works out because everyone knows what their job is.
Yeah, but I think the problem is that they didn't have good and detailed like reference sheets. And without that, studios, well, they will draw something, based on.
No, they have reference sheets. They just never follow them. And in several cases, it's actually written. It's actually like instructed. It's okay to not use these if you think it looks funny. And also, the storyboard artists are also the writers, and they don't talk to each other, and it's a huge mess.
Yeah, sounds like.
And Cartoon Network shovels these people money, and they can't even smoke it because I don't think the lung capacity would work out.
Huh. Well, I don't know if they're smoking or snorting or I don't know.
I think they have an entire studio dedicated to laundromat. That's how much money they're laundering in this shit.
I think they are plugging, plugging drugs right up their asses. Because
I don't think the human body can fit that many dildos, even if you fucking turn them into a mule.
Oh.
Yeah, see, I mean, the reason why like Rick and Morty was actually pretty decent was because they didn't give a shit. They just decided that they were going to just make a good cartoon, and that was all they gave a shit about.
Well, then Dan Harmon did I Want Only Female Right.
Yeah, and then Rick decided to act like not Rick. Not Roiland, the other faggot.
Dan Harmon.
Yeah, he decided to be a complete asshole, as usual. He always fucking does this.
Which one? The Kitty Diddler or the other one?
The Kitty Diddler, Harmon.
Yeah,
he did this with Community. Like, early Community is great, and then it kept degenerating, and then because he's a faggot, and,
Well, I mean, remember when he was yelling, he was, like, wearing some, stained, wife beater and yelling about how 40% of US populations are literal Nazis. Remember that?
It's funny how the guy who
that.
pretends to, who voices and writes the retarded child is actually the galaxy brain of the two. It's funny how that works. Like, Roiland seems like okay, or at least not faggy.
Well, compare.
Like, we've lowered the standards of discourse. Just don't be a complete faggot all the time.
Well, that's the thing. Compared to the other guy, everyone would look great. Потому что it's really hard to beat Harmon. Harmon. Anyways,
the California animation scene is what makes Encyclopedia. Well, it makes Encyclopedia Dramatica look like a kiddie pool. It's bad. I mean, it's Hollywood, so of course it looks bad, but
yeah. Well, anyways, let's get back to that.
It's just depressing to see these like peanut brain retards be swimming in money, and then artists in like the third world or the quasi first world, like mainly the Japanese animation industry, literally live in cardboard boxes.
Yeah.
Anyways,
there was actually a Kickstarter to fund a lot of them. And it was a Kickstarter, and it actually got funded, so that'll be neat. Anyway,
nice. Before we go,
Lisa will fuck anyone, even though she's an 8-year-old. Let's go.
That's the thing. Before we start the article, I wanted to say, would this sexual preference factor into the story? Because if it doesn't, there is no need to mention it because it's irrelevant. But if it does,
thank you.
Yeah, well,
that's the thing. Like the SJW.
That's what so many gay people on Twitter have been pointing out, and it's like, shut up, honey. You don't take enough dick.
That's the thing is that, like the SJWs, they cry out. They say we want representation and we want this and we want that. And they don't want characters.
I've had black artists tell me that I don't care if your cartoon is a fucking KKK rally as long as it isn't bad.
Yeah.
They are so sick of being patronized and just given shitty character after shitty character because they're dark-skinned. They don't want it anymore if it's going to be that.
Yeah,
no one wants that.
No one?
No.
Apparently
you know
they
why
do.
Italians like The Godfather? It's not because they're fucking mobsters. It's because it's fucking good.
Yeah.
Some say the perfect movie.
Anyways, let's take a look at that.
How they massacred my poor boy.
Hey. In an interview with Metro UK, Al Jean said that Lisa Simpson may turn out as president and possibly Polarmer. So it's like in the future. So it's not when she's 8 years old. Well, at least I hope, because 8-year-old president would be
it would be worse than having AOC as president, maybe.
An 8-year-old polyamorous president.
While Bart Simpson would be enjoying life as he did at the end of the Bart Hood episode. So would be a loser.
A bum.
He was kind of a deadbeat dad, if I remember. He had
wait a minute! This is referencing an old fucking episode. What the hell?
No, wait. They say that they will show like the future, and it would be consistent.
No, this episode already happened.
Yeah, I know. Let me finish the sentence.
Okay.
Thank you. But it's saying that the new episode that will show the future will be consistent with that old episode. So like they're pretending to keep the continuity. Yeah,
but she was already gay in that episode. So what's? Oh god.
Well, now she's like I guess polyamorous. So it's like we live together.com.
Well, they said
also, the fact that she was a gay woman president was the joke. That was the joke. because Lisa's fucking insufferable.
Well,
Yeah. She is.
Yeah, she's an insufferable liberal.
She was literally a walking Hillary Clinton joke. That was the point. No, that was literally the point.
Yeah, that was a joke. The point was she was supposed to be overbearing.
Also, there was another in the one episode. She was like even more insufferable because she became a vegan and started being twice.
Well, maybe now they're making it serious though. Maybe that's the point they're trying to get across now.
Well, let's see. Lisa Simpson is only 8 years old in the long-running series. So she's 8 years old for 40 years. How long is it? Yeah,
30 years.
30. It's cartoon logic. It's so so ridiculous that cartoons often make self-aware jokes about that. But remember, in one episode of Family Guy, Brian asks Stewie, "How old are you?" 1. Still 1? Yeah. What? Well, why?
This article is also lying because they're not dropping a poo.
Oh, so
that was Adi Shankar being a retarded street shitter as usual.
Well,
he finally dropped the discount Alice Cooper makeup. Thank God. Wouldn't want that shit stain associated with the glory of Cooper.
Yeah. Anyways, let's continue. Writers and fans projecting sexuality onto fictional characters is nothing new. Peppermint Patty from the Peanuts movies has long been the subject of fan speculation. Well, fan speculation is one thing; it's not canon. Because fans can speculate about a lot of stuff. I mean,
she's a bossy, like butch-ish little girl. She's not necessarily like a lesbian. Also, it's a child. God damn it! Why is everyone Amos Yee, Beaner?
Hi there, Striker.
Oh, here he is. Here's our resident weeb.
Yeah, you've missed a lot of fun.
As usual.
Well,
you are late and homosexual.
Wait, what? He's more weeb. He's more weeb than me. Okay.
Anyways,
Ohio, listeners, you stupid motherfuckers! Holy fucking shit! I knew we were gonna talk about this sooner or later. Fucking Lisa Simpson as a polyamorous bitch. Great. As if being a vegan SJW wasn't enough.
Amos Yee and Destiny, you can hear the pants tightening.
Dude, I stopped watching The Simpsons after like season 12.
Everyone did.
I don't know. I actually think I stopped watching The Simpsons back in like the 90s.
If you're still watching The Simpsons at this point, at season 30, you're a fucking NPC.
Yeah, at this point,
nobody's watching The Simpsons. They're just keeping it on for the sake of keeping it on. I stopped after season 20 10 years ago.
Maybe people are just satisfying their morbid curiosity. It's like train wreck. You shouldn't look at, but you really.
Well, once in a while, once a season, they'll have like 1 or 2 good episodes, and then it's just like you have to sit through a lot of shit before you find the good stuff. But is it worth it?
Yeah.
Like that episode where they put fun at SJWs in college.
Well, not only that, they also did a Lego episode, which was really good.
I never actually.
Jesus. That sounds like complete cancer.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, let's see what else is that. Okay, speculation. Fan speculation is not exactly it's not canon, so who cares? Yeah, last year a mini controversy broke out when Sesame Street writer Mark Saltzman, who is gay, said in an interview that Bert and Ernie characters were based around his own relationship. Well, I mean, it was kind of obvious that 2 dudes sharing the same bed.
Yeah, I heard that's why they had to make them
insert himself,
so no one could make that connection.
Who'd have thunk it?
Dude, people have been doing that connection between Bert and Ernie since the 70s. It's not new.
I know. It's also not true, but that doesn't stop Fujoshi's.
Yeah, but now it's kind of official. So the guy,
not really,
confirmed it. So guess. Well, anyways.
No, it's still not true. That's just one weird asshole on the production staff, and no one agrees with him.
Well, who cares?
Yeah, it's PBS. PBS and the Jim Henson Workshop's official position is that they are not gay. They do not even have asexuality.
Which I would, yeah, you don't want to assign sexuality to a fucking
kid's character for fucking toddlers.
Well, I would say just a fucking Muppet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually surprised that that Sesame Street.
No, please, no fucking Muppets, please.
But
no,
then again,
no
also,
fucking Muppets.
I mean, like they basically, I mean, they've caved in on a lot of things. Like they now have Hispanic Muppets, and now they have the autistic Muppet.
Well, I mean,
because she has autism. That's fucking mean.
Anyways, let's continue. This set of speculation, because The Simpsons, a show which originally mocked political correctness, has been capitulating to the social justice crowd recently. Well, given that nobody watches them, the SJW. This is one show that SJW cannot destroy because the show, beat them to it itself. So you cannot kill me because I committed suicide. Jokes on you. So yeah. Last year, the show's producers announced their intention to drop the character approval. I still don't know how official was it, but it was stupid. Was offensive again. The show also recently cut an episode that featured Michael Jackson in reaction to an HBO documentary Leaving Neverland. Well, it's not politically correctness, more like why they did it, just they didn't want to be associated with the controversy. It's not because they believe in accusations necessarily, but just because there's a lot of emotions and a lot of people who don't know anything but yell as if they do. So they just, decide to distance themselves from controversy. I understand why they do it. I'm not saying it's a good idea to do this, but I understand why they do it. So it's.
Speaking about the Leaving Neverland thing, come to find out that the story that the guy who was making this the documentary. Come to find out that he's been caught in a lie.
Well, there were several lies. But
the director came out and recently admitted the assault that he alleged that Mike did to him on one night couldn't have happened that night.
Well,
like the building that he even said it wasn't even built at that point.
Yeah, and there are a lot of really big red flags. For example. Forget the name of the channel, but this guy, he shows that those interviews made to look like they were like one take interview, but turns out that there are splices from different interviews filmed on different days because you can see that the background is different, like in the same room, but the furniture is differently placed and. They didn't even bother to recreate the room as it was when they filmed it. Apparently, they filmed part of this quote-unquote interview, and then quite a time later, they decided to film additional segments and splice them into. And they didn't bother to even put the furniture on. You can see that the sofa appears and disappears. So if it was an interview, why did they need to splice pieces from different takes taken on different maybe months even? This makes no sense. So it's just one of those, and also Razorfist did a really good job showing other inconsistencies and outright lies and a lot of other stuff that this story is bunk. So yes,
there is some. Now that we're talking about Lisa Simpson, I gotta say something real quick. Do you know who Yardley Smith is? That's her voice actress.
Yeah, her voice actress.
Guess who's married with? Guess who her husband is? Have any of you guys ever seen the show Hey Arnold?
Yeah.
I've heard about it.
Yeah.
I've watched it a bit.
Yeah,
he's got a weird shaped head. That's about it.
Yeah, well, then so that's her husband. So. Yeah. What was his name again? Craig Hartman or something? I forgot his last name. Well, anyway,
I actually had the biggest crush on Yeardley Smith back when she was on that show Herman's Head.
I remember she was on. Oh wait, that was Pamela Allen Smith who was on Grease.
There was an article this week about something about Bart Simpson. I forgot what it was.
Bart's a transgender vegan now.
No. Maybe something worse. I don't remember. You will have to Google it after this one.
Oh, there we go. Craig Bartlett. Yeah, that's the guy, Craig Bartlett. Now that I think about it, there was, I don't know, it's more weird. The creators of the Boy Scouts, because I know that Nancy Cartwright is a Scientologist.
Yeah. That I think that was it.
Like, honestly, the fact that she even used Bart's as her boys when it comes to endorse the Church of Scientology really says something about her as a character. You know?
Yeah.
You're pretty much. It's ironic. You're pretty much voicing what at one time was the icon of the anti-establishment movement, and guess what? Just turned into the right's turned into a whiny little bitch. Really, and that really sucks. You know that?
Yeah.
Especially, I don't know. You know what? Let's move on, because honestly, I had a fucking crappy night. There was. Forgive me, just ranting at this point. But yeah. Oh, speaking of, yo, Klaus, where you at, dude?
He's wondering where you went.
Yeah,
I'm going through the. I remember that I had another topic we can take a look at. Let's talk about this. Well, I mentioned already this Chapo Trap House, which is not a tranny club in Mexico, despite the name. I still don't know what it is, but it's just let me show. It's up Reddit, so of course it's full of idiots, but it's worse than a typical Reddit stuff.
Oh, of course it's Reddit, dude.
It's like leftist, degeneracy central. So okay, let me show. First of all,
my!
For this one, can you guess why Death to SNL? The reason.
Oh my God! It's fucking Punished Snake. Yo!
They got Deathstroke on SNL.
Yeah, the Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah. So let me show you context why these people are angry at SNL. So this is a quote from Wikipedia. On the November 3rd episode of Saturday Night Live, comedian Pete Davidson, I guess this guy.
Yeah, the guy with the patch.
Joked about Republican candidates. His name is
since he has white hair, we could call him young Anderson Cooper. Also,
he joked about this guy Dan Crenshaw, right?
Yeah, Crenshaw.
Joked about his appearance and described Crenshaw as looking like a hitman in a porno movie. Like, what kind of porno movie has a hitman?
Here's the thing. If he wouldn't have said war or whatever, they could have just taken it as a joke.
Yeah.
Because the hitman in porno movie is like, the joke didn't land, whatever.
Yeah, but
then he added he lost his eye in war or whatever. That is like directly belittling his service. Like people aren't going to put up with that, and he's not a good enough. He's not a good enough. Well, none of them are comedians.
By the way,
not anymore.
Wikipedia page.
They're scripted comedians.
So yeah,
scripted so-called comedians.
Yeah.
They're shitty actors.
Yeah. So yeah, well, 2 Bronze Stars, Purple Heart for the injury, and Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal with Valor. So pretty impressive resume.
I remember back when Saturday Night Live, I mean, they did political commentary, but they roasted everybody equally. I mean, they made a point of not taking sides. They would mock whoever it was did the latest thing that caught somebody's attention.
Yep.
Well, anyways,
but other than that, they just did comedy.
Yeah, well, comedy is kind of dead. Well, anyways, here's the important part. So the joke received significant criticism. Oh no shit! And on the following episode, Davidson and Crenshaw appeared on air together. Davidson offered an apology, which Crenshaw accepted. Crenshaw and others have speculated that the joke may have helped him win. And then because they, SNL invited him and apologized, these people said, yeah, death to SNL for this one. Yeah, these people are so, calm and collected, and they are totally not crazy.
Totally not.
And they
Why
have,
does he look like he's about to die from AIDS? Oh, wait.
He probably is.
There's... Okay, let me show some select quotes from the comment section. Where were they? Oh, yeah, some... Let me show. Screenshots. So... Yeah. I mean, seriously, this dude did not exist, and now he's the biggest Islamophobic racist nightmare in a lot in which there are many. He's a minor shade below Steve King in his present as political figure, blah, 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 just some really stupid shit. So, yeah, strong front levels of white genocide rhetoric. Yeah.
These people need to meet RJ or fucking Koresh if they want Islamophobia.
Okay. Oh, wait. The other difference is that I absolutely think Crenshaw would kill Ilhan Omar if given the opportunity. The fuck? Who the fuck cares about her? She's the gift for Republicans that keeps on giving. She's the best. She's the best anti-democrat propaganda that could be. Well, not the best. The second best.
Her and AOC are probably the two best things the Republicans could want in the Democratic Party right now.
The funny thing is that the establishment Democrats, you can bet your ass that they want to get rid of those two retards as quick as possible, because
if anyone wants to off Ian Omar, it's the Democratic establishment. The Republicans, they want her around.
Yeah, that's
her. I mean, basically, it's like Omar fucked up because had she just gotten in there and then kept her head down, she could have actually, she could have just bided her time and actually made inroads for the Islamic realm.
I can tell you the Democrats
to sit there and try to wage jihad in the calls of Congress.
She could have been another like David Ellison. That's his name, right?
I can tell you the Democrats' entire logic for getting her in there. Well, you're a Muslim woman. You're used to getting beaten and not saying anything, right? So just do that.
Oh, by the way, look at this response to this.
Literally.
Yeah, he's a right-wing lunatic traitor who should be publicly hanged. Yeah,
he is literally the opposite of a traitor, you dumb cunt.
The irony of calling someone a lunatic and then asking for someone who didn't do anything wrong to be executed. Yeah,
I bet the dipshit who wrote that comment was probably legit. It's probably I bet the dipshit who made that comment probably thinks John McCain's a patriot just because he didn't like Trump.
Oh my god!
Yeah, John McCain was a fucking Vietnam War collaborator.
Not even he was a fucking traitor before then. He fucking basically killed people and I forget what the name of the aircraft carrier was, but he was being an asshole and he cost like a dozen people their lives that day in the flight deck.
Yeah, I try not to think about all the other stuff.
His entire career is filled with dead bodies or people he's fucked over.
Oh, yeah.
Like his
I
first
try
wife.
not to think too much about what John McCain has done to keep me from going and digging his grave up. Just the fact that he was a Vietnam collaborator was enough to piss me off.
And there's the whole... Oh, no, it was the Forrestal. Yeah, there's the people he murdered in the Forrestal. There was the wife he abandoned because while he was too busy committing treason, she unfortunately got into a car accident and he dumped her.
What the fuck? Who are you talking about? Jesus Christ!
John McCain.
Damn, that's quite the track record.
John McCain only got into Annapolis because of his daddy. He was a fucking D student there.
Jesus
he had no
Christ,
business being anywhere in the military. He's a cunt.
Oh, well, look at this. Someone grown bravely, and I don't know what this says. Antifa. It's like what users say about themselves, like their roles or something. I don't know. I don't use Reddit. Anyways, so look at this. I've recently, so Antifa, like anti-fascist, says, I recently learned someone I knew, some Zionist loser. So yeah, fascists are bad. By the way, just fucking Zionists, death to Israel.
Yeah.
But we're totally anti-fascist.
Nazis are bad, but fuck those
They
Jews.
like to say that globalist is a dog whistle for Jews, but it's actually no, it's actually the actual like legit neo-Nazis use Zionist as their dog whistle for Jews.
Wait a minute. So they're angry.
Yeah. So
they're angry that he's anti-Islamic and a Jew lover. Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. It's just ironic. It's just pure irony. Maybe that's why they just ate too much cereal with iron in it.
Yeah. So let's see what else is there. Yeah, screenshots. Oh, this is the best one.
They
Nazi pirate
into province. Nazi pirate. I mean, wow.
Oh, wait. This one is also pretty interesting. All of New York should be burned down and sold as scrap metal to China. Fuck.
I'm perfectly fine with that. Fuck New York. That goes half the country's liberal population.
Yeah, I mean, at one point,
New York's kind of a
York
shitty place. I'm sorry. I've been there, not
How about
impressed.
just the town itself? Just burn the town itself. No,
Yeah, the
don't kill
state is
anyone in it.
actually fine. The state is beautiful. New York City is kind of a trash fire.
Well, again, 10 million people live in New York. 8 million of them live in New York City. 2 million of them live in the rest of the state.
Which is why the rest of the state is so nice.
Yeah. Anyways, I can show you other shit on the subreddit, and it's just I didn't select the worst. Like, all of it is bad. Like where's this Chapo Trap house? So Aladdin could have used the wish to end the class system, but there's commies all over this shit.
Yeah. Well, no, it's supposed to be in Arabia. I was saying.
Okay, actually, if I remember,
it would have been better
things,
to a caste system, but yeah, no.
No, if I remember correctly, Che Guevara was also called Chapo.
Oh, so it's speaking of
that makes
Guevara,
sense.
Speaking of
Che Guevara,
dude, these people don't realize that Che Guevara, he was a racist, a homophobe, and a war criminal. And he literally said that black people smell bad, they're lazy and stupid. Well,
He also looks like a very shitty
man,
Klingon
so he's
extra.
okay.
It's amazing.
Well, Che Guevara actually he was a white man. I mean,
yeah, he was from Argentina, and most Argentines are white. So,
but he didn't like the American white man. See, lefties, I can shift the goalpost too.
And unlike most lefties, you could probably actually move a goalpost at least a foot.
So let's see. But
you got enough tard strength. You can do it, James. Put your back into it, retard.
Here is this one quote.
Moves half
The
the
black is
football field.
indolent and a dreamer, spending his meager wage on frivolity or drink. The European has a tradition of work and saving, which has pursued him as far as this corner of America and drive him to advance himself, even independently of his own individual aspirations.
Nice job, Jesse Lee Peterson. Now, where's Che's quote? Oh.
Anyways, there are other quotes. By the way, he wasn't just like a homophobe. He actually put gays and soy boys into literal concentration camps.
Yeah.
He was a real doer, Che.
I was about to say, in contrast to the other communist regimes, it was actually in Cuba where they aggressively criminalized homosexuality. I remember reading when Lenin came to power in the Soviet Union, homosexuality was decriminalized. I think it might have been recriminalized back under Stalin, then uncriminalized after him or something. I don't know.
This is fucking stupid. Like, leftist memes are always shit. Ugh. Fuck. Do I need to say anything? Well, I need to say something. I need to say that I don't want to look at this too much. It's so bad. Oh, yeah.
Oh God, yes, this.
Oh,
This is actually kind of good.
Stop. I know this style. It's
Adam Ellis.
Ellis, or what's the name?
Yeah, Adam Ellis. When he left BuzzFeed, he actually grew a brain again.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's redemption arc.
Yeah. His comics after leaving BuzzFeed are actually like legitimately funny, like this one.
Control Alt Delete. Yeah, it got better.
Wait, what Control Delete? Control Delete is the loss.
No, that's Tim
Yeah.
Buckley. I'm talking about Adam Ellis.
Yeah, the
I
new guy.
forgot.
Well, it's now called Adam Tots, whatever Tots is. At least it's Thoughts, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much.
Yeah, have you shown the machete clip? I've shown the. I think it's Donut Operator or Mike the Cop who showed it. It's a bit higher in our Discord.
Oh God, this line, sir. She just tweeted Dumbledore ate ass and he was starving. She's out of control.
The world must know.
And it's a British accent, not.
It needs to be like Gollum. It's like
The world must know.
But by the way, these are like not much worse than the real, quote unquote facts. Like the dumbest thing I've seen, like when I saw this tweet, I was not sure it was like a parody account or actual, like official, Harry Potter facts. It said that until some date they didn't have toilets in Hogwarts, so wizards would shit on the floor and then using magic delete all the shit.
Except for the fact that in your first year you're not allowed to use magic.
Well, first of all, Muggles figured out that you can shit in a bucket instead of shitting like on the floor.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure in the Harry
Also,
Potter
wait a
movies,
minute.
in the part where the
Moaning
trolls in the
Myrtle
bathroom, there's
died in a
toilets there.
fucking bath. Oh God. Or no, wait. Moaning Myrtle was later, but that still doesn't make sense because in the medieval times, you just pooped outside, or not outside, but
in a bucket.
Well, no, not even in a bucket, but like the reason areas of the castle extended out beyond the wall is because you would shit from there.
Oh, yeah, in the castles. But if you don't live in a castle, if you live in like in a small one-story building, you just either an outhouse.
Yeah,
or
but Hogwarts is a castle, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, but
if it's well designed, you would shit in a moat.
Yeah.
Even shitting in the bucket is better than shitting on the floor, and then.
Oh yeah, sure, but it's like it's a literal castle, and there are outcroppings that were copied because the designers didn't know what those were for. But yeah, those are for shitting out of.
When I saw this, I didn't even I couldn't tell if it was like for real or it was a parody, but it was for real, and it's. I think that people were happier without knowing this factoid, but again, I guess this is the how world building works, how you create a deep and rich lore and very detailed history and background information for your universe. Yeah, move aside Warhammer 40k. We have better deep lore. Anyways. And let's end on something more positive.
Well, I'm gonna have to get going now anyway. So
yeah, so let's the couple of minutes.
Okay, I could stick around for a couple.
So by the way, I hope all of you saw my two-parter expose of really lazy shitty movie reviewers who were triggered by the fact that Alita had tits in the movie Alita Battle Angel, which...
Oh, yeah, I saw that one.
So, even though... No, let me show... if you've seen the movie, you saw that judging by their reaction, you would think that she had like just giant anime titties and they got triggered. No.
With realistic boob physics.
Oh, the thing... They got triggered by like B cups. Like, what the hell? So imagine what would happen if Alita was more like this fan art I found today. Yeah.
Holy fuck!
Oh, Jesus.
Damn, I would not mind.
By the way,
Bruh.
you know what's the best part? It was drawn by a woman, so toxic masculinity had nothing to do with this either.
No, it's internalized misogyny.
Well, it's like you human or robot, her spine is broken. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, to any ladies watching, if you want to internalize some misogyny, I'm free on the weekend.
Except for when you're with us.
And this is where I wanted to look. This is a positive note I want to end our stream on.
Man, those are like C's or even D's. God damn, dude.
Play with these.
So that,
Oh yeah. I'm looking at your I'm looking at your face. Don't worry.
Anyways, and since it was like our last topic, thanks to everyone, we still have viewers somehow. Well, thanks to everyone who managed to survive through this mess of a live stream. But it was much less of a mess than usual because we were fewer and more.
Yeah, we didn't have as much people in this time.
And so maybe we should actually limit number of participants to 5 maximum because it's actually much easier.
You always say that, though. Well,
I always say never act on this, but well, I'm not going to enact some hilarious means of controlling the population. Well, where we value freedom more than orderly conduct.
Yeah.
So, thanks to everyone who joined us, who stayed with us. It was my privilege. See you next week with more of the same.
See you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Drive safe.
Good night.